How would you like to walk right outside your door and harvest your own medicinal herbs for teas, tinctures, or any herbal preparation that you might want to use? Today I'm working on setting up this little greenhouse. It's been colder than usual here, but it's time to start some of my seeds. While I work on this, I wanted to share how you can grow your own medicinal herb garden, even if you don't have land to do so. There are dozens of herbs that can be grown on a patio, porch, or even a balcony. I started my first gardens about 15 years ago in our backyard in the city. We eventually left the city for some land in the country, where I learned to grow fruits and vegetables and some culinary herbs. As I began building my home apothecary and then later opening an herb shop on our property, I knew I wanted to grow medicinal herbs as well. This is how my path unfolded, but even if you've never grown anything before, you can grow medicinal herbs. Each one has its own unique needs, but none of it is complicated. I knew I wanted to create a video specifically about starting a medicinal herb garden because I hear so many people say that this is something they're wanting to do. I don't know exactly what God is doing, but I've seen enough to believe that He is placing this desire in the hearts of so many, a desire to grow the medicine He gave us for our good. This year I'm relocating my apothecary garden slightly. It's still on our property, but I want my medicinal garden to be located around my herb shop so I can teach others in my local community how to grow and use herbs. I thought this would be a great opportunity to document the process and hopefully inspire and encourage you to grow herbs too. Today I'll share the steps in how to plan a medicinal herb garden. These steps will apply to any garden nonetheless. So take a minute if you'd like, grab something to write on, a warm cup of tea, and let's brainstorm. All right, step one. Step one is to determine what space you have. I know not everyone has land to grow on. At this stage of my life, I'm 52 years old, I personally want to grow as much as I can in pots and raised beds. The good news is that I have successfully grown so many herbs in containers, things like lemon balm, lavender, peppermint, marjoram, and even marshmallow and comfrey. For those last two, you'll definitely want some deeper pots though. Last year, I purchased some of my plastic pots from Lidl. They were far more affordable than anywhere else I found. I don't know if they'll have them again this year, but I am looking forward to checking that out. I'm sharing my plans simply to give you some food for thought. So the question is, how do you envision your garden? Are you planning to grow in pots, raised beds, or directly in the ground? And if space is limited, do you have a patio, a porch, or a balcony that you could grow on? Please share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're planning. Now that you've considered your space, the next step is to think about you. What do you actually want to grow? What herbs do you already use? What herbs do you want to learn more about? Growing your own herbs is one of the best ways to truly learn and understand the plants. Now, I want to take a minute to share that I created a reusable planner for myself to help plan and organize my apothecary garden. In the planner, there is a page specifically designed for this step. Of course, you can use any piece of paper or just a regular notebook. That works just fine. Now, our next step is deciding whether you want to start seedlings from seed or buy plants that have already been started. Starting your own seeds can save a lot of money. And if you're planning to do that, now is the time to order them. I have ordered from Strictly Medicinals in the past, and I have some left over from last year that I'll be using. This year, I have ordered my medicinal seeds from Survival Seeds. I absolutely love their beautiful packaging and how quickly they arrived. I've posted a link for that in the description as well. Now, a quick note. Some seeds, like lavender, require cold stratification. It's not difficult, but it does take a few weeks, and it's a step you don't want to skip. If you'd like, I can make a separate video showing exactly how to do that. Just let me know. I also understand that starting seeds is not feasible for everybody. Time, space, or slow germination makes buying started plants an easier option. But medicinal herb plants are not always easy to find locally, but you can keep an eye out on places like Marketplace or local plant sales. For example, there is an annual medicinal herb sale in Asheville, North Carolina. And I'm sure there's others in different regions. If you know of a sale in your area, please share that with everybody so they can find them. In upcoming videos, I'll share which herbs are easiest to start from seed and which ones are better to purchase as started plants. If you want that information right now, I also have the Apothecary Garden Growing Guide, which covers 20 herbs, how to grow them, harvest, and even how to use them. And it notes which herbs you may want to buy already started. All right, so our next step is to figure out your last expected frost date. If you don't know what growing zone you're in, you can easily look this up online. You just search for the growing zone for your city and state. I'm in zone 8B, which means my last expected frost date is usually in late March. Around here, most people plant after Good Friday, which this year falls on April the 3rd. So that gives me a reliable planting window to work from. Once you have that date, this is where reverse engineering comes in. Instead of guessing when to start your seedlings, you work backwards from your planting date. For example, if a seed packet says to start seeds 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost, you simply count backwards on the calendar from late March or early April or whatever it is for you. And this tells you exactly when you should be starting those seeds indoors. Now, some folks don't like to start seeds early. Instead, they'll direct sow the seeds after the last expected frost date. I personally like to start plants in seed trays, except for a few that need to be broadcasted, like oats for oat straw and milky oats, alfalfa, and clover, or plants that just don't transplant well. The reason I prefer this is because I find it more difficult to keep the seeds moist if I direct seed them in pots, raised beds, or rows in the ground. See, if you have a seed that has begun germinating, meaning its seed coating has softened and its roots and first little leaves are starting to push their way up and out, even if you can't see it, and then it dries out, it dies, it's over. It's a really crucial time, and I just find it so much more successful to have all my babies in trays where I can monitor and tend to them easily. And now another benefit from starting in the seed trays earlier is you have more mature plants by the time you're ready to plant. Alrighty, we have talked through determining your space, brainstorming what you want to grow, deciding whether you'll start from seed or buy plants already started, or do a mix of both, and figuring out your last frost date. Now it's time to have a little fun and get creative by sketching out your garden plan. And I want to say this right away, you do not need to be an artist to do this. If it helps, you can use graph paper. I like graph paper because each little square acts like a ruler. Before I draw anything, I figure out how much space I'm actually working with, which may mean grabbing a tape measure and writing those measurements down. Once I know the size of the space, whether that's garden beds, containers, or opened ground, I decide what each square on the graph paper will represent. For example, 1 square might equal 1 foot or 2 feet, depending on the size of your garden area. From there, I sketch out the space to scale and start placing where beds, pots, or planting areas might go. In my garden planner, I do include graph paper, and I always print several of these copies. That way, if I have a different idea, or if I want to sketch separate areas individually, I can do that without erasing everything. That's especially helpful for me because I'll be planning multiple spaces. One area is directly in front of my herb shop, and the other one is on the side. And I'll also say this process is very flexible. What you imagine in your head may not be what you end up liking in real life, and that's completely okay. This is just a starting point. Also, you don't need to feel like you need to do this all in one sitting. This is something you can piddle with over a few days or even a couple weeks as you think, dream, and picture your seeds growing right outside your door or in your backyard. I'm starting with a bit of a blank slate this year, so I'm figuring things out myself. Well, I am really excited for us to grow our gardens together this year. If you'd like to share your journey, feel free to send me some photos. My contact information is in the description. In the next video, we'll talk about how to start seeds, the soil you'll need, containers, whether or not you may want to have some additional lighting, and which herbs are especially good choices for beginners. Thank you for joining me here. I'll see you next time.